Well, welcome to this video from Frequency Martial Arts. I'm Coach Ed. This is Professor Robson Moura. And one of the things that I like to do when I have you come in is kind of open up a Q&A session with you and allow teammates to ask questions during the early part of the day. One of the questions that came in is, what advice would you give to a new coach, somebody who's been training several years, but they're now just dipping their toe into the water to coaching class, but also finding time to train for themselves?
So it's a good question. When you're doing that transition to be a coach, eventually be a professor, I think first thing you have to understand, like the class. When you run a class, you not run a class for yourself. You run a class for the student, and you have to look yourself like the other side. So, because I'm saying sometimes you see when you go teach something and it's like scissor sweep, right? And you've been doing scissor sweep for many years, and you think, oh, just go up here and do the scissor sweep. And the guy the other side is having trouble to do, and it kind of like, oh, that's simple, you just do like that. But it's very hard to do. Then you have to break it down and they understand, what you've been doing for years. You have to translate that in pieces to the guy to make easy for him to learn. It's a very nice change, but you have to look like the class is not for you, it's for the student, and that's one thing. And the other thing is, I think when you teaching, and you learn way more when you're teaching. And that's you're definitely gonna be learning more things than you don't do when you just train as a student, And then whatever, if you coach a few classes a week, you have to take one day you are a student. You have to become a student. I do that myself. Every Friday at noon class, I'm a student. I show up in the class and I take class as everybody else. I bow, I warm up like everybody else, I do the technique as everybody else, and I spar as everybody else. I'm a student on that day. So it's important for us to be in the both sides,
Definitely. And then you bring up a great point. You take time away from teaching at headquarters to be a student. How do you ease the intimidation factor for that instructor? Because it's one thing to ease the intimidation factor of a new student coming in who's never trained Jiu Jitsu before. But to be the head instructor for that class when the 8-time world champion, 6th degree black belt is your student, there's got to be some intimidation there, questioning your teaching ability.
Yeah. So that's why I do the full class. I get in there, I'm not the class starts, I'm not going to the side, do my stretch or just jumping when they was fine. I do the full class, so then they see me ball, they see me warm up, they see me running to them, they see me do the technique as they are doing. So they see oh, Rob's doing the exact same thing as I do, So I put myself on the same side as they are, And again, I've been doing that for a long time. I take the Friday noon class to do that. They already know because I've been doing that all over for many years. They know they know that day I'm just a student as everybody else.
So one of our teammates sent in a question when it comes to being middle-aged, starting Jiu-Jitsu for the first time, not coming from a martial arts background, what they can be doing to overcome, the injuries, the soreness, and more importantly, helping them find time to be on the mats. What advice do you have for them?
I think for every age, I always tell everybody you have to create a habit for yourself, stretch. I do for I've been stretched for my whole life, right? Stretch means something I always do when I wake up, I do my stretch. But for the last 6-7 months, I've been doing stretch and meditation. I take Monday and the Wednesday and Friday when I'm not travel on Friday, but when Monday and Wednesday, I wake up, I get my kids, go to the school, then I have my 30 minutes, I go do my stretch and do my meditation. So that kind of stuff lets me make me connect to myself first, and then second of all, the stretch has to be, every human being should be stretched. We have to stretch. It doesn't have, you don't have to extend it like a full stretch, but you have to go like, if you can go here, go here. If you can go there, go there. Just like keep the habit to the stretch, because you're gonna know how far your body can go. If somebody catch you on the arm lock, you know your arm can extend over here, and you know your arm can extend a little far. You kind of know how far you can go. That's one thing I would give the advice to everybody. If I could put a seed in everybody's mind, it'll be like stretch and meditation. Don't miss that, because it's a very important thing for us to do, And the time you I understand like everybody's busy, you got a family, you got a job, you have so many things on your plate, but I also listen. So if I cannot talk to my wife a lot about that, actually, if I cannot find time to myself to do the things is gonna make me happy, is gonna do the things is gonna make me healthy, I cannot give that for the people who I love. You know what I'm saying? Like, so think about like, if I'm so unhappy because I don't do the thing I love, so what's gonna happen? I'm gonna bring unhappy to inside my house. I'm gonna bring unhappy to my family. I'm gonna bring unhappy to the people surrounding me. So then what I do, I always make sure like I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I'm in love with myself. So now I have all this positive energy to give to my kids, to give for the people who I love. So that forcing me to find the time to take care of myself. Because if I don't do that, I don't have that to give, So that time is important. We have to find the time, guys. This can be 30 minutes. So if you like said, again, like, I know you have like a very early class, 5 in the morning, something
5
like
in
that?
the morning, yeah.
5 in the morning, like, 5 in the morning, everybody's sleeping. That's the time you get off the bed and just make that habit, go to the school once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever. It don't matter how many times you can make, as long you can be there at least once a week, you're gonna feel happy. You're gonna feel, you're on the right direction. Eventually, you're gonna add more classes. So we definitely have to find that time,
For all martial arts schools, we always talk about, what to expect when you're the new student, how things are going to be unfamiliar. It's going to feel awkward. And for the most part, we do a really good job coaching and holding their hands as they progress through the ranks. In October of 2021, you promoted 14 brown belts to black belt. What advice do you give to that new black belt as they get ready to step on the mat for the first time wearing the black belt?
Well, I think like first, like I don't think any belt, but like especially the black belt, because when you walk as the match as a black belt, you're big target, right? But like first, don't put any pressure on your shoulders. Just like take that as like just another day, we use this term a lot, like on the black belt. That's when you start learning. It's kind of when you hit the black belt level, you kind of stop and think about, okay, what I do now? What's my next move? And thinking about if you've been training jiu-jitsu for 10 years, right? It took 10 years for you to be a black belt. So now you're gonna be on the black belt for lifetime. And I'm saying, so you have a lifetime to learn. You have a lifetime to try new move. You have a lifetime to learn how you share your knowledge to somebody else. And now you go to all these phases, like learn how to share, learn how to improve, learn how to apply new technique. It's just like, because you have like now like the way, like when you start for these 10 years behind, you chase that dream to be a black belt. You kind of like sometimes you don't try too many things because you feel like, oh, I don't want to screw up, I don't want to feel like I don't know what I'm doing, right?
Sure.
But now you're black belt, so you can do whatever, like you can try. Nobody's gonna take your black belt away because you lost a sweep, so you lost, the guy passed your guard. It's just like, it's a try learn. That's gonna be open your mind to learn new things. I think like be a black belt, it's kind of like be an open mind to learning more and to be able to share more. And I think like everyone who's getting like, getting new on the black belt now, just embrace that path and just have fun. It's not nothing to be worried about. So
And speaking of fun, you've seen jiu-jitsu change during your years of training, from coming in and training really hard every single class to, like you just mentioned, having it be a fun class to where you can learn, your teammate can learn. What advice would you give to somebody who feels that need to, when they walk through the doors, to always win when they're on the mats, whether they're going against a brown belt or a black belt or a student who's only been training for a week?
well, it's not about win. Jiu-jitsu never been about win. Jiu-jitsu is being about be best you can be on yourself, be better, like be improved, be like. That's what happened. Like, a lot of people, they don't get it. That they go to the school, they think like, oh, I want to win, I want to choke somebody, I want to armbar somebody. And then, okay, when you do that a couple times, they say, what's next? Then they quit because they don't feel the improvement. You have to be learn. Jiu-jitsu is a learning experience. Like, you're gonna take from the mat to your lifetime. So then you just improve, get in the mat. You're gonna have days you want to win. Definitely, you don't want to lose all the time. You don't want to get beat up all the time. I get it, but you're gonna have days you have to be accept the lose, accept the uncomfortable position, accept like was not a good training day. And then when you combine all that together and you realize, oh, it's just a learning experience. And so I think because we're doing like a combat sport, when I think for the human being in general, when you talk about combat sport, we all think about it's a fight, we want to win a fight, right? And but it's not about that. Like, if talking about, like, remember like years ago, like the samurais, when they lose a fight, they kill themselves because they're so ashamed of themselves, because they couldn't accept the loss.
Sure.
And so when we learn and we accept that the loss, that's putting us in another step. You have a better view. You have a better understanding of jiu-jitsu is about. Jiu-jitsu is beyond mixed martial arts. It's beyond arm locks and chokes and sweep. It's way more than that. I get it's take a long time for you to understand it there. It maybe take a lifetime. Maybe people going to do that for a lifetime. They're never going to get it. But as long as you be open-minded and step on the mat, since day one, white belt or your black belt, no matter, and you all the same when you step on the mat, it's going to be much easier for everybody.
Okay. And then one more question. One of the teammates reached out saying that, with the age of the internet and there's so much video footage that is available when it comes to discovering new techniques. What are some of the things that you're currently working on to improve your game with the teammates that you're training with?
Well, I do like the information you have there. We got a lot of information, but you cannot confuse, because sometimes like your white belt and you should work on that. You have to create it to build the foundation, and you already look for something is too far away from you, and then you can get it confused. So you gotta go slow, And then one thing I do a lot, like everything thing I come to my mind as a technique, I try. I put on the floor. When I'm sparring, I try. I'm not gonna hit that 100%, but I can see where I'm missing, then I can fix when I feel like, oh, it's a nice technique, so I can share. Then I tell my guys all the time, for you guys, look, when I teach you something, right, can be whatever technique it is. It's your goal, it's your job to try that technique, because if I give you something, like I kind of give you like a gift, I give you a t-shirt, right? And then you never use that t-shirt, you just put it on the side, you don't really care about that, you know what I'm saying? So, but now give you a technique and you say like, oh, I like that technique, let me try. So you try, even though that technique doesn't work for you right now, but that technique eventually gonna be work for you when you are ready for that technique, you know. And the improvement is like that. So sometimes they I always say like it's got two things, guys. One thing you know jiu-jitsu, and another thing you know how to put jiu-jitsu together. Because what happened in the internet, you get yourself a full of information, but you have no idea how to put that information on the floor. So why you need all that information on your mind just to make yourself think you know something, but when you have the time to do it, you have no idea how to do it. It's just like it's missing time. Just gotta go to the school. You may see some technique online you like, so share with your instructor. Say, hey, I saw this technique. What do you think? Because your instructor, he has better answer for you. So he's gonna tell you, look, oh, this technique is good, but don't think about that right now. Or maybe he's gonna tell you, look, oh, it's nice, but grab that way, and that's gonna give you a better idea how to move from there, you know. So that's probably the best thing to do.